Doing my last minute research, finding out stuff. R8RBEAR! Woo! Let's go. Asaltante Oso, that bear you all know. Out of hibernation to entertain Raider Nation. What? You heard me. Woo! Often imitated, never duplicated. Nah, that fool with no hair that shouts like Ric Flair. Woo! The Raider Bear! Mwah. Your host tonight, Alexa, hush. It's enough of that nonsense. What's up, loves? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you all tuning in for the show. And we're going to talk this football. We're going to talk about this Raider Nation. And we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about this. Finish! Raider Bear Live. First comment. Woo! MVP tonight goes to your multi-belt wearing, multi-champion, the best, number one, king. I'm just in a good mood. Mark Vargas. What's up, Mark? Welcome to the show. Always there for Raider Bear, that 5-emoji making son of a gun. Appreciate you. Second place on YouTube this fine evening. The silver medal, Carlos Magana, 1974. What's that about? Third place, my bronze medal goes to my good friend and his lovely wife, who is only lovely because she stopped giving me the business about pickles. Were she not to have stopped doing that, wouldn't even mention her right now. Bob Standard! His wife's adorable. I can't. It's true. All right, what's up, everybody? Honorable mention to my guy, John the Lion Leon. John, come on, man. What the hell? Okay? You didn't even make the medal round. You getting fat and lazy on me? Huh? Is that what you doing? Facebook! Where I cut my teeth. And who is our champion? Who's number one? Who's the best? Who's the walking epitome of never lost? Carlos Boykins. What's up, Carlos? Welcome to the show. Always there for Raider Bear, your number one heavyweight champion of the world. Facebook, Carlos Boykins. Always there for Raider Bear. Second place, silver medal, the G-Man, Jim Garrison. Jim, what are you doing up here winning medals? I mean, you're not up here like all the time, but I'm starting to see that name. Don't think I haven't noticed. I've seen you, Jim. Keep it up. Third place, my bronze medal goes to DPC David Pell Kaliva. You notice, David, for you, I turned it around to the pickaxe side, make it real. That's final, you know what I'm saying? You come with the pickaxe, that's game, you know what I'm saying? This, you just cutting somebody, you might take off a finger. It's a small blade. It's white hot sharp. But, you want to end the game, you're that home intruder. No, I got stuff. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you all tuning in. There's my guy, handsome Joe Holman. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Troy Gill, always there for Raider Bear. Much love to you, brother. My guy, Jesse Parker. Jesse, I walked into the store the other day, and there was this black kid working at the counter, and I went over to him, and I go, you ever heard of Show Nuff? And he goes, nah. I'm all, what? So I start showing him everything. I'm explaining all of it to him. He's like, oh, this is badass. This is really cool, blah, blah, blah. Then I show him your shoes. He lost it. Made me look good. Appreciate you, brother. Hey, Bear, today, what a great day. Right, brother? Like yesterday and tomorrow. Corinna Trujillo. Bear! Always there for a Raider Bear. Oh, look, Stephen Shaw already looking out for a bear. Steven! And Mrs. Shaw! Appreciate you. Appreciate the love on the stars. And remember, stars given to the show go directly to charities that we work with all over the world. I haven't been mentioning them as much lately because we've been in transition with a lot of them. And some of the ones that we really thought we were going to be working through kind of fell through. So now it's like I don't want to announce them. So I'm just kind of waiting until we've got everything on solid ground. And then I'll start announcing a little bit more specificity about who we're working with. Well said, Scotty Lutz. I love that. All right, let's see. Scotty, I'm feeling really good about our Golden State Warriors. I think they're, without question, going to make another move. I just don't know what the move's going to be. I think that initially there was even talk that LeBron might come to play with Steph for one last season. But I think with the cheating scandal and the FBI and everything that's going on with the NBA, they might look at that as tampering or some other sort of, finagling, and I just don't think they'd allow it. All right, so let's get into the business of the Raiders. So what the hot topic that kind of hit the waves from what I could see today was the situation with the coaching staff, that there is more to come as far as coaching staff getting fired. It's going to be like, okay, week 10, this guy got fired. Maybe now week 12, this guy will get fired. And then week 14, this guy will get fired. I mean, they're going to clean house. It's looking like they're going to clean house. Now, I don't know how Pete Carroll's going to go, but I'm reporting, the Raider Bear is reporting he's going to go. Now, the only way he makes it into his second year is if it's in ceremony only. In other words, he'll be helping them break camp. He may even be there, in part through part of the preseason, but whoever they have coming in that they plan on having replace him, that they plan on replacing him, will probably just be in contract negotiations. And then they'll bring him in. And they might let Pete Carroll finish the next season because they would probably see it as a building opportunity for the new coach coming in. Let him make decisions behind the scenes on trades, drafts, things like that. Let Pete Carroll be the figurehead so he can wave off in the sunset. Because, Pete Carroll's got a little bit of that we love Pete Carroll grandfather vibe going. And you know what I mean? And the Raiders aren't going to want to stomp on that. You know what I mean? It's just bad PR. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. I didn't pick it up. I'm glad you guys told me. I apologize. Sound back. I'll go back kind of where I was at. I was just basically saying that Pete Carroll was brought in to be. You saw me doing this. I'll just do it again so you guys will know. I'm literally repeating exactly what I just said. But Pete Carroll went all chips in. You know what I mean? And it's ironic, we're in Vegas, but that's really what it was. He's all chips in. Now, having said that, he's crapped out. Now, any idea that he would be in charge next year is kind of foolish. Even if he's there, he's not in charge. He'll just be ending his contract, and they'll probably be doing a coaching search if they haven't already, which is highly likely. If I know anything about what they've been saying about Tom upstairs, the minority owner, I'm not even saying his whole name. Okay. Put foots in him. Al Pigeon 1987. What's up, man? Welcome to the show. Bill Cox said, it's a joke. We're clearing house. The Raiders are a joke. Well, honestly, Bill, I can't argue with that right now. I've said firmly, and I'll say it again, until Mark Davis is out, we're not going to stop. This is not going to stop. In fact, I think it was Mark Davis who was on board with this sort of half in charge with Tom making a lot of decisions. Tom settled on Pete Carroll. That's not who he wanted. That's who he settled on. So when you settle on a guy, obviously you're not really happy about that guy. They brought in Pete Carroll because he's a name, and they thought he could help us get to winning right now. And to be honest with you, think about it for a second. Pete was being used by Tom. Tom didn't want Pete, but he did want him to do what he does, get the team rolling. And so Tom just felt, okay, well, I'll give you this GM I know, and with my skill and my general manager's skill, we will give you the tools, Pete Carroll, to go out there and win. Well, that's not how it works. But that's what was done. And so now I think they're going to bring in more people, but they're going to move on from Pete Carroll, bring in more talent, and essentially just blame it on Pete. Now, for me, it's on Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly's the other coach that's on the hot seat right now. You got to fire that guy. You've got to fire that guy. And whenever defenses that you're playing against on other teams are saying out loud, oh, yeah, when we did film study, we could see everything they're calling. And when Chip Kelly runs his offense, he sometimes cartels it down. And when you do that, now it's even easier to read it. And so defenses were literally kind of clowning us online and saying, yeah, we could see everything he was calling. Excuse me. So it would be like the defense would know what we were calling every like third play. And that's just too much. We can get a first down here and there just because we're blocking well and we run the ball, just because we're blocking well, we run a play well and we throw the ball, whatever the case may be. But if they know for sure what we're running on a given play, how are you supposed to deal with that? And so Chip Kelly to me has got to go. Again, it was an experiment. They tried to throw things together. It didn't work. I blame part of this on Tom, because he can't say he had nothing to do with it. And Mark Davis has been more hands off with this team than he was even with John Gruden, who's also in the news again. Well, Gabriel, it's hard to say, you know what I mean? I'm trying to be fair, you know what I mean? Because he's been back and forth from college to the NFL to college to the NFL, and he's had his moniker of success here and there. But I kind of agree with you. I think that he's a college coach that doesn't really know how to adapt to the pros, but for damn sure was never going to turn down pro money. So every time a pro coach or a pro organization offers him a job, he's going to take it. You know what I mean? And I don't blame him. I might do the same thing, even if I was over my head. Maybe I go there, maybe I throw my offense out there and it has a little success, and maybe I stay on. But It's not good. Yeah, Chip's going to be gone first. I don't think they're going to do the whole thing with the offensive line coach, being that's Pete Carroll's son. I don't see that happening, because then you start kind of a war with Pete Carroll. Even if you are letting him go or planning on letting him go, whatever the case may be, buying him out, having him resign, blah, 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 blah. You don't want to clip his, you don't want to hit him in the kneecaps, firing his son down the stretch of an already losing season. You know what I mean? There's just no point in it. What are you gonna do? Bring in a new offensive lineman and he's suddenly gonna make Jackson Powers Johnson not injured and be able to call out line protections and we're gonna win games? So it would be kind of silly to do that now. Can AOC play Monday, and why Geno Smith? Okay, first, Bill, the AOC play on Monday. Yes, he could play on Monday, but he will not start. Geno Smith will start. Now, Pete Carroll is the captain of the ship. He built it, and he's going to go down with it. So if the ship's going down, he's going down with it. And he's going to go down with his guy. He's not going to, change up now. He already did that once, and we saw what happened. We got the other kid, Kenny Pickett, and, Mr. Two Gloves wears a size 3 children's. Put butts in him. You know what they say about dudes with small hands. Well, I mean, Kenny Pickett just ain't it. He ain't it. Not anywhere. He's not ever going to be good anywhere. Not as a starter or a backup, not at anything. I'll be shocked if he's still in the league after one more round. In other words, the Raiders will let him go. Someone else desperate that just needs somebody, as an emergency guy will bring him in. They'll realize he sucks too, and then they'll let him go. I guarantee it. Just give it time. It's going to happen. And then also, I need to shock some of you. I'm super over Trey Tucker. I'm over it. I've already canceled Malcolm Kuntz. Okay, Malcolm Kuntz is a ghost. He's no longer going to be a Raider soon. At the end of this season, they're going to move on from Malcolm Kuntz. You heard it here first. I can't give you source. I'm just telling you, Malcolm Kuntz is not long to be a Raider. There will not be another extension. There will not be another offer. He will be allowed to go into free agency and go get a job because he's a bum. And Trey Tucker, although he is a good guy and a class act, he cannot. I don't know what it is with him. He went to this guy 2 seasons ago. He went to this guy in the offseason. I forget who it was, but it was a wide receiver guru. And he said, Trey Tucker went in and literally said, I have a lousy route tree because I don't have enough footwork to get myself open in certain routes and certain defenses and so on. I need to get better about that. So then he came back, camp starts, and the coaching staff starts raving about how he looks like a new man. His footwork, tap, stop and go, left and right, looks better than ever. And then it just didn't show up on the field. And then fast forward, following season, now we're here to this season. We get this flash of 3 touchdowns in one game, and we're all kind of like, was that our little Trey Tucker? Is he really going to be maybe the number 2 or number 3 guy for sure? It's just not there. I'm done waiting. You give a guy a year or 2, and that's it. You know what I mean? In the past, you could wait for like 4 years because you were building teams long term. Nowadays, you're like a sled racer in the Olympics. You need to upgrade every single time you go back. You have to have bigger guys, stronger guys, better cart, sharper, razors on the bottom so it through that ice. We have to see us and the Raiders the same way. And we as fans have to hold them to that standard. They know, I'm not going, you're not going anywhere. The fans know that, and the Raiders know that. But they've also got to know that I don't have to keep buying tickets. I don't have to keep buying merch. I don't have to keep going to tailgates and spending money there. I don't have to keep doing that. I can just be a Raider fan and root for the Raiders. Or you can pull your heads out of your and get to winning. I never, ever thought this sentence would come out of my face, but I want Mark Davis to sell to that minority owner up there that looks like a Ken doll and got dumped by his wife for a karate instructor. Who gets dumped for a karate instructor? No offense to any karate instructors that might be watching, but it's not exactly the most lucrative industry. Tom, she left you for a bum. She left you for a bum that could probably beat you up in 10 different ways, but a bum nonetheless. She didn't even have the decency to leave you for a personal trainer. No. She left you for a guy that could grab you by the neck and throw you across the room 5 different ways. I couldn't imagine getting my wife dumping me for another man. And then I realized I can't do anything about the other guy. He could just whoop my ahem all over the place. The Steelers dumped Kenny Pickett after 1 season. Yeah, honestly, the Steelers knew what they saw. And their coach, although I do not like their coach at all, I do not like the Steelers coach at all. I think he should have been fired years ago. He's no nonsense. I give him that. He is no nonsense. He dealt with Antonio Brown the moment he started getting too far out of line. He dealt with him no matter how talented he clearly still was. He got him out of there. I've heard you say this is a family show, so I won't say my opinion of how Brady has screwed things up. You always, and I do mean always, let a coach pick their own GM and their own offensive coordinator. Oh, yeah, no, Joe, we're in agreement. I don't agree that Tom should have done that. I'm saying that's what hurt the process from the jump. Pete Carroll was coming out of the gate as a loser. He was hamstrung by the fact that he couldn't do the things he normally does. And I don't care how good a coach you are, if you're not allowed to do the job the way a coach is normally allowed to do it, when you've been doing it as long as that guy and you've won a ring, for crying out loud, he's got a ring. And we all know he should have got a second one. And the very guy that took it from him is now his boss. Sorry, I threw up a little bit in my head. Okay, look, Bill Cox, Tyree Wilson is history. Tyree Wilson is history. There is going to be a remake, redo, upgrade, remix, however you want to refer to it, to this Raider roster. Because Pete's going to get scapegoated. I would say he should, if he had control of the team when he came on and the right to bring on his own GM, his own offensive coordinator, et cetera, et cetera. Had he been allowed to do that and then failed exactly this same way, oh yeah, then he's got to go. But you guys notice, I've never been mad at Pete Carroll. I've never come on here and been like, oh, you got to fire that guy. I don't have that vitriol toward, like the big words on the bear, vitriol. I don't have that kind of vitriol, that kind of anger for Pete Carroll. I don't, because I knew right out of the gate he was getting kind of sabotaged. Inadvertently or intentionally, he got sabotaged. And so how can you blame that guy for the outcome when, he didn't have control from jump? They say next year's draft quarterback class is not good. Actually, Bill, that's not true. There's about 4 quarterbacks in this next draft that I want to be careful how I word this, because you're correct about what you've heard. This is not a deep class, but there are 4 guys. I'll let you, research it more. I'm not going to just spout their names, but I'll do that more because I don't like talking about, you guys who've watched my show for a long time know, I don't like talking about college football in the middle of a season. I just don't like doing it. It's just a complete and total admission of failure and loss, and that your team has absolutely no chance. And I just don't like doing that. Even if it's true, I don't like acting that way with my roster, with my team. I just don't like doing it. So, obviously I'll give you a huge breakdown of the college guys. I'll give you background on them, stats and all, like I do every single season, but or every single year. But right now, I would say there's definitely going to be 4. I can't give you names, but I would say there's going to be 4 for sure that are considered prospects. In other words, no one's going to come out and say, "Oh, that's a surefire starter." They're saying they'll be, made starters. Some of them, because they'll end up on really bad teams, they'll be made starters, but they're not for sure. It's not for sure. They're just. They have all the tools. They have all the talent. They have all the ability. But will they have success? Because we see what's happening with the Texans. The Texans got that kid, CJ Stroud, and he looked like he was like this just rookie sensation. He's flinging the ball all over the place, reckless, abandoned. Everything was working. He's running for yards and sliding and getting down and not getting hurt. He seemed like he's smart, had it all. Ever since that first season, and it's just a truism about rookie quarterbacks. When a rookie quarterback comes in, defenses and defensive coordinators don't really have tape on the guy. You can't go on what you saw in college. You can know that he has a big arm. You can know that he's fairly fast and will run if he feels pressure. Or is he a pocket guy? You can see those kind of things from college football, but you can't tell what his tendencies are. You can't tell, will he really be able to survey the field and then come back to a guy over here, even though he checked all the way over here? You can't know those things until he's gone through a full season. And oftentimes, once you've gotten that one season of tape on a rookie quarterback, that's all you need to really know, okay, this is how he works. This is how he thinks. On third down, he likes to go to this. He tends to go right, 75% of the time, and only 30% of the time does he go left, et cetera, et cetera. I love the Raiders and always will, but until I see that day that the Raiders really amaze me and prove me wrong, our Raiders is who they is. Got to earn our right to call ourselves winners. Scotty, I couldn't say it better. Tom cloned his dog. I had actually heard about that. My daughter and I were talking about it. I didn't really know how to feel about that. I think that any kind of cloning with humans is just wrong, because you're messing with souls and religion and things like that. And I just think that's wrong. Whether you're religious or not, I just think that's wrong. Because if you're religious, it's wrong because you're doing God's work. If you're not religious, it's wrong because who's responsible for the clone? He doesn't have parents. What if he kills someone? Should he be beholden to our laws? He wasn't born under God, as it says in courtrooms, when you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. I have a problem with that. So then you clone a dog, and the question is, does a dog have a soul? I immediately say yes. I don't. I've had too many dogs, and every single one was different. Every single one. And I don't mean by breed. I mean personality. Every dog I've ever had, male or female, their personality's been different. Every time I've gotten a new dog, I'm excited because I know I'm going to get to know a new person, in effect, in that dog. Like I am now with my French bulldogs. I got 2, and they're like reckless, abandoned, play all the time, limitless energy, snore, sleep for 30 minutes, wake up, limitless energy, snore, sleep for 30 minutes, wake up, limitless energy. And they do that all day long. I didn't believe it was true. They said, someone I read said that they sleep something like 20 or 30 times a day. They take naps, and it's true, but they're like micro naps. 25 minutes here, 15 minutes there, 35 minutes there. You know what I mean? If you sit down as your dog parents, and you're in front of a movie and they sit down in front of you, then they're out. It doesn't matter what time of day or night it is. It could be early in the morning, and they'll go right out. Ah, Steven's back. Steven Shaw. Joe Holman. There's a lot of people that could do that. Yes, Corinna, you can watch. If he gets an opportunity, we're going to go full pay-per-view. Alpha and Omega Forever 757. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Gino is trash. AOC should start for the remainder of the season, and we're going to draft a quarterback, possibly in the second round, since there are no first-round rated quarterbacks. Okay, I don't know if I agree with that, only in the sense that once the draft starts, the pressure's on for teams to let guys that are supposedly second round quarterbacks end up being first-round quarterbacks. Maybe not, in the top 10, but 17th, 23rd, something like that. And suddenly you lose a guy you wanted. And so these other teams are wary of that. Someone, or maybe two, will probably go in the first round, just mid to late first round. The only reason why they're not starting AOC for the remainder of the season is because he's probably gone at the end of the year too. And Pete Carroll was trying to prove something with Gino. Now, I think that experiment's over. But at the same time, I think this is exactly what will happen, Alpha. Gino will start the game. He will throw a pick, and then he may even fumble an exchange between him and Ashton, and the other team gets the ball. 2 turnovers, somewhere in the first quarter, maybe one early in the second, and then he gets pulled. And now, without further ado, I would like to introduce to you that woman that needs no introduction. And if you could see these pajamas, oh my God. I can't even let you on camera with those. It's gracious. Joe Holman, I said this was a family show. We did discuss that, right? Okay, I'm trying to get my head right again. What are you doing in here?
I just came in here to show you my pajamas.
Would you get out and stop smiling at me? Stop that. You're in trouble, sort of. Do you think we're going to win another game? Do you think we even should? That's a great question, Joe. I would say this. Ramiro, I appreciate the agree, love. Appreciate that. Joe, I would say this. I do think we're going to win another game. But I think it's because if you saw what happened with the Broncos, we should have won that game 5 different times. There were at least 4 or 5 different opportunities in that game where it should have gone our way, and it just didn't. You know what I mean? And so I can't see that continuing all the way to the end of the season. Not for 6 or 7 more games. I don't see that. I think we'll get at least 1, maybe 2. I don't think there's going to be tanking. I don't think that that's wise. I just think the eye of the FBI and the law on Vegas it's there right now. And even if we were doing funny business, I don't think we're going to do it right now. Not right now, you know what I mean? And I do think we should, Joe. I think for morale and for the team, I think it would be good to win out. Or not win out, but I mean, at least try to win games. We better draft an O-line from the likes of the players from Wisconsin, Ohio State, Penn State, and some other good schools. Alpha, I agree with that completely. Now, we're going to get Carlos Rogers, one of the guys that we drafted that we're all kind of excited about. And I want to remind everyone before Monday night's game that offensive lineman, even though he is a baby, so you have to be patient, okay? Let's not lose our minds if he gives up a sack. But Carlos Rogers, to me, was very high pedigree. There were a lot of teams that had him scouted very high as an offensive line prospect. If I'm going off memory, so I can't be sure, but I want to say there were at least, they announced on draft day that there was at least, Mel Kiper Jr. and the guys said there were at least 5 to 6 other teams, including the Raiders, that had him very high on their war room card of someone they pick if he's available, if they didn't have someone else. Fortunately, other people they were targeting were there, and we ended up getting him. Mark Vargas is throwing out there Fernando Martinez. I mean, that's probably among, guys that are going to be looked at in that group of guys I'm talking about, because I'm saying 4 is what the experts are predicting, but we all know that the experts always miss on at least 2. And when I say miss on 2, I don't mean among those 4. I mean there's going to be 2 other guys that come out of this draft that no one saw coming. That it's not that they're not talented. It's not that, they're bums or people didn't have any idea they could be good, but they're going to be good real quick. You always have at least 1 or 2 guys that come right out of college and do that. And so I think we're going to see that. Now, if they get an opportunity, then we'll really see it. If they don't, they're just going to languish on someone's bench. But I think 1 or 2 extra guys among the 4, so 6 total, are going to come out, and there's going to be a chance we could see at least 3 or 4 quarterbacks pan out among that number. Where would you start on a new head coach so we get it right this time? Well, I'm okay, Bill. We haven't done this in a very long time. I think the Raiders should allow Tom to go young, go into the college ranks, find someone that offensively is innovative, and bring him in. Now, we have different arguments, okay? There are those that know the stats, for example, for a young coach that comes in the NFL. Oftentimes, the percentage of young coaches that come out of college and have success is lower than the amount that come in and fail. Okay, that's just the facts. But there are always some who hit and are good, real good. And I just think that we need to take that chance. We've been losing for a long time. Doing things the way we have and to continue to do them moving into this era, to me, would be a big mistake. And I'm praying they sense that. Go with a very young. I would go very young. And when I say that, I want to be honest when I say I'm stressing very, because I don't want them to just go get a name. I want them to get someone that's cutting his teeth. I want someone that other NFL analysts are saying, hey, that guy from blah, 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 one day is going to be a hell of a head coach at Tennessee State. Well, no, why wait? Go get him now. Go get him now. Help him put his staff together, but let him pick his staff. And then let him cut him loose. And then, more importantly, you must get a man across from Max Crosby that draws respect. No more Malcolm Kuntz. No more Tyree Wilson. Even if we have to go get 2 or 3 guys out of the draft and then go get 2 or 3 free agents and hope that 1 or 2 of those 6 guys pans out. And if they don't, you dump them, scrap them, and go into free agency and find a baller and overpay. I can't stress how much. You cannot take a guy like Max Crosby and throw away his Hall of Fame career because you were worried about regime change and what coach it should be and where our wide receivers should be and blah, blah, blah. Max Crosby, like Khalil Mack before him, we must learn from the Khalil Mack mistake. We lived it. We saw it. For God's sakes, the man is still one of the best right now, and he's an old man. You cannot waste another moment of Max Crosby's career. You give him a defensive line mate opposite his right shoulder, and I mean someone that can play. Now, I'm just going to give you a name because we all know the name because it was, being teased in free agency. But Trey Hendrickson. Had we landed Trey Hendrickson, our entire record is flip-flopped. Guarantee it. Geno wouldn't have had to throw as much. There'd be less interceptions. We would have had control over games, and he would have been able to start running the ball, and we could kick field goals and throw passes when we need to, not just to be aggressive. Chip Kelly. More like stale chips. Sup, Vicky Ginn? He will drag us to a ring. Like a Ray Lewis like. Will bring us to a ring. You don't have to have an all-pro quarterback. You just need good. You don't have to have the best wide receivers and the best running back. You just have to be good. Be innovative with your offense, and then let your defense take it home. Last time I checked, if you can't score or you struggle to, that leads to losing. That's what Max would bring. Can we please stop acting like we don't see what we're seeing? As Raider fans, we've all gotten used to it. They're going to be showing tape of Max Crosby when we're all dead. And our grandparents' children will be watching, the days of the Raiders back in 2000, blah, blah, blah. And they'll be showing tape of him for decades as a stud, legend, Hall of Famer Raider that we let down as he's playing Hall of Fame football, and not just Hall of Fame football. And for those of you that are cool, you'll get what I'm saying here when I say this, but he is no longer a Super Saiyan. He has ascended. He's not just playing Hall of Fame football. He's playing really high-level Hall of Fame football right before our eyes. And the scariest part about all of it, and this is the part that drives me the craziest, if he had just a little help on that side, he would have double-digit sacks in 5 games. Maybe 7. I have to stop talking about Max. I met his mom and dad, so I kind of fell in love with him. I already liked him as a player, but now I like his family. Wife's beautiful, daughter's beautiful, brother's beautiful. Wife and dad are awesome. Got it all. We cannot keep dogging that man. He didn't have to take our money. He could have said, you know what, I'm going to look at what you guys are doing and make a decision down the road. And then let his contract run out and go, Josh McDaniels? AP? Bad coach, inexperienced coach, bad decision making, poor offense, no help, re-upping Malcolm Kuntz, bringing in Tyree Wilson and watching him be a bust while he does that stupid celebration he does when he makes one play a game. Someone pull me off of Tyree Wilson. I feel like a bully and I'm holding him down, punching him in an alley. Put butts in him. I don't care. Stop wasting my guy's career. Stop it now. I'm not feeling Arch Manny, Mark Vargas, but at the same time, I would look at that. The pedigree's there, but sometimes the pedigree, I think it's gone as far as it's going to go. Let's not forget Archie Manning, the dad. He was a really good quarterback, but he really never could get it together. Part of it was the fact that he was on bad teams, but he never really did get it together. And then of his 2 sons, who both won Super Bowls, Eli Manning's an idiot. I mean, he's led the league in interceptions repeatedly. He sounds like dope. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say he's not a cool guy. He's got a sense of humor. He seems like he's really nice. I shouldn't be making sense of his vernacular and how he speaks. Vernacular, another big word on the bear. I'm just trying to impress you guys. But you know, in all seriousness, I wouldn't mind Arch Manning if we get him third round, you know, fourth round, which of course their family will say is an embarrassment and they should give him a bonus and blah blah. Nah. Benny Arriaga, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Is Daniel Carlson on the hot seat? I saw a kicker on the practice squad. Bob, he's not technically on the hot seat because the kicker we brought in is an old, wily veteran. He's really someone we brought in as insurance for Carlson if he continues to struggle, but he's not going to take Daniel Carlson's job. That other kicker probably won't be on our roster at the end of the year, whether Daniel Carlson is or not. He's really just a Band-Aid. Daniel Carlson has his job. And then the new special teams coach that they brought in, that was literally the first thing that came out of his mouth. He didn't talk about protections. He didn't talk about game plan. He didn't talk about special team strategy. He said, I got to come in and get things tightened up and get Daniel Carlson right. See, because I think Daniel's off because other things around him are off. With Coach Pete's stature and experience, I don't know why in the hell he agreed to not having a say in his GM and coordinators. Well, I would be honest with you, Joe, when I say to you, I don't think he knew that. I don't think he knew that. I think he was pregnant with the deal, the contract, the money, and everything else. And then I think Tom kind of stepped on his toes. And being who he is, executive vice president or whatever Mark Davis title he gave him to Tommy Boy, regardless, there's not really a lot Pete could do. You know what I mean? If Tom then steps on his toes and goes, you know what? I don't like that guy you wanted to go with. We're going to go with this guy. I mean, what's Pete supposed to do? You know what I mean? Not only is he under Tom, but he has no leverage because he's old. You know what I mean? It's not, if he was like a 26-year-old coach and Tom pulled that, he could look at Tom and say, look, when my contract's up, I'm out. You brought me here because you believe in me. Now you're telling me you're going to hire the coaching staff for me? Get out of here. I was preaching alpha. I'm being for real. With the personnel connection they have from being on the same game for so long, when Vrabel turned them down, that tells me something about what a scumball Brady is. Yeah, it's all you hear about him. You hear people that hate his guts and you hear people that love him. There's no in between. People either hate him or love him. And you do know he was a Trump supporter. Now, for those of you watching the show, I want to be very clear. I'm not bringing politics into the show. I'm just simply saying that we all know Trump is one thing that can't be argued, and that's contentious. He will not be argued down. And if he feels a challenge, he will argue you down. I'm getting the impression that's how Tom is. Tom wants control over every aspect of what he does. And when he loses control, he tries to gain it back. And everyone that's been interviewed about him when he got the minority ownership with the Raiders has said the same thing, that he will not stop at partial ownership of the Raiders. He won't. He won't stop until he owns it and then has total control over how it's rebuilt. That's what Tom wants. I guarantee it. Ramiro, appreciate the love. Well, okay, Joe, we agree about Parsons. I don't understand what the hell happened. How did Green? I don't even understand how Green Bay pulled that deal off. I really don't. I don't understand how they pulled that deal off, especially when you consider Al Davis had a very close relationship with Jim Jones. Why am I forgetting the first name of the owner of the Dallas Cowboys? I don't know. Jerry Jones. Sorry. Jerry Jones and Al Davis were pretty tight. Jerry said on more than one occasion that he felt like Al Davis was his mentor, that he learned a lot of how he does business in the NFL from Al Davis. So if he was going to move the guy, I would have thought he would have had some sentimentality, maybe send him to the Raiders. But because obviously if he had called us, we would have tried to make a deal. So I don't know why that didn't happen. And I put that on the Raiders for not for not only getting involved in that, but not getting involved harder. They should have been more involved in that. They should have made a deal that was obscene. Because that guy would have made all the difference. You bring that guy in opposite of Max Crosby, it's over. It's over. I mean, I can't think of any football person that could argue with me that the Raiders would become a dynasty now slowly. No matter what you do with the offense, that defensive twosome can literally take every team in the league and say, okay, you guys average 31 points a game. We're going to bring you down to 22. And then let's see if you can stop us. You see what I'm saying? That's what's going to happen. You know, you're going to get 24 points, 22 points, 21 points, but you're not getting your 31. We're going to lock you up. And then hopefully our guys will put some points on you. If we had done that, we would all be happier Raider fans. I would be even okay with the losing because you can blame a lot of that on Chip Kelly and Geno Smith's poor play and poor play calling and poor decisions on fourth down, going for it on fourth down on your own side of the field, Pete Carroll, in what was like, the second quarter? Doesn't make it, gives up a short field and points. You're supposed to be a veteran coach. You know, he did that early in the year. I think it was like game 2 or 3. Just stupid football. This isn't a video game. At your age, I would have thought you would have known that. You don't play video games. You wouldn't know by your play calling. It's 4th and 7. Let's go for it. We're on our own 35. It doesn't matter. Yeah, Alpha, I agree with that. Sentimentality-wise, you would think the Saints, especially when the Saints need a quarterback, they'll probably go after Arch. I agree with that. Looks like the Raiders are going for C.J. Carr in a couple of years. Tommy Boy likes him. You know, honestly, that has been reported. Matt Marinovich, welcome to the show. Good to see you, brother. It's been too long. I don't care who the guy is. It could be him or anyone else. You've got to get the situation right at coaching. And then the players can fall in line. You don't have to have, on a scale of 1 to 10, there's this perception by fans that every time you get players, they have to be the best. You have to get a guy that on a scale of 1 to 10, he's got to be a 7 or a 9. You know what I mean? If he's not a 10, you got to get an 8. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. No. You can take a football team that's a whole bunch of 6s and 7s and win a ton of games. If you do one thing on one side of the ball really well. For example, if your offense can run the ball and you can never be stopped, you're just always ripping off 4 and 5 yard carries. Well, then it just takes little short bubble screens and little short throws to your tight end, first downs. Now you're an offense that's just mowing up yards. Okay. Or you're a defense that does what we talked about, that builds those bookends. And now suddenly you have a defense that's stopping everyone's offense, or at the very minimum, slowing it down and shutting it down enough so to where the Raiders offense can score enough points, get ahead of it. And maybe we win a few games of a score like 27-21, 24-27. We win close game, but not really close because they had 5 separate drives that were all shut down and turned into punts by our defense. If any one of those or 2 of those drives had ended in scoring drives, we would have lost. See, I want that Raider team. We already have it halfway there. Caillou Kelly looks really nice to me. Eric Stokes has been doing well. Max is Max. You know, we got to get just a handful of guys, but you've got to get a monster at defensive end. Alexa, play Hide by NASA.
And similar songs on Amazon.
And yes, fix the offensive and defensive lines now. Ramiro, I appreciate the love on the Great Friday Show comment. And remember, if you enjoyed the show, please hit like and subscribe. It helps me on YouTube to get into the algorithm and get past some of these other bums that do Raider news. Yeah, I admit some of them are kind of boring. And I promise you, I'm never going to change my background and put a neon light somewhere. Oh, we got to have a little purple over here, little pink over there. Why is everybody doing that? I don't follow trends. I create them. All right, that's my show. Much love. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Space Force, for all you do. The energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice, active and veteran. Much love. Steven and Mrs. Shaw. Always looking out for a Raider Bear. Much love. Everyone have a safe weekend. I will see you Monday. Raider Bear family page. What?